I remember that Tuesday afternoon like it was etched in glass, sharp, unyielding, and ready to shatter at the slightest touch. The sun was filtering through the lace curtains in my bedroom, casting soft patterns on the folded laundry I just pulled from the dryer. The scent of fresh linens mixed with the faint lavender from the soap I always used, a habit I'd kept since Robert passed. It was my way of holding on to normalcy, those small rituals that kept the house feeling like a home rather than an empty shell. At 70, I'd learned to cherish the quiet, the tick of the old wall clock, the distant hum of neighborhood kids playing after school, the earthy smell of my garden soil waiting for me outside. But that peace shattered when the front door slammed open, the hinges creaking in protest like they hadn't in years. "Mom, where are you?" Marcus's voice boomed through the house, laced with a fury that transported me back to his teenage years, those stormy days when he'd rage about curfews or chores. Only now, at 42, it carried a darker edge, something colder. I set down the shirts, my hands steady despite the knot forming in my chest, and stepped into the hallway. There he was in the living room, my only son, his face flushed crimson, fists balled at his sides. Those green eyes, so like his father's, bored into me with an intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Sweat beaded on his forehead, even though the air conditioner whispered cool air through the vents. "Why did Chloe call me crying, saying you changed the password on your card? She was at the grocery store and couldn't pay. You humiliated her in front of everyone." I froze in the doorway, my heart pounding. 70 years of life, of raising a child alone after Robert's heart attack, working double shifts at the diner to pay for Marcus's college, scraping by on widow's benefits, had taught me to stay calm. But this? My own flesh and blood storming into my home like I was the enemy? "Marcus, lower your voice. We're educated people," I said, keeping my tone even, though my knees felt weak. "And yes, I changed the password because it's my card, my money." "Yours?" He spat the word like it was poison, taking 2 steps closer. For the first time, I felt real fear not from a stranger, but from the boy I'd nursed through fevers and heartbreak. "Mom, we're family. You can't just put up barriers when we need help." His breath came in heavy bursts, and I could smell the faint cologne he wore, the same one Chloe had picked out for him last Christmas, using my card. No doubt. I backed toward my favorite armchair, the one with the faded floral pattern where I'd breastfed him as a baby, read him bedtime stories, and later, cried alone after Robert's funeral. Sinking into it, I tried to steady myself. The room felt smaller, the air thicker with his pacing, his shoes thudding against the hardwood floor. I'd polished every weekend for decades. "The card is in my name, Marcus. It's my money." "Your money? Seriously? Are you going to be this selfish?" His words sliced through me, each one a reminder of the statements I'd poured over last week. $200 on makeup, $300 on clothes, $500 at that fancy restaurant downtown where I'd never set foot. But I held my tongue, not wanting to escalate. Chloe was just buying groceries, cleaning supplies, normal things. I knew it was a lie, but I said, "If you need money for something specific, we can talk like adults. But I'm not leaving my card open for anyone." "Anyone? You're calling my wife anyone?" His voice cracked higher, echoing off the walls lined with family photos. Marcus's graduation, our trips to the lake, Robert's smiling face frozen in time. He loomed closer, and I gripped the armrests, my knuckles whitening. "She's your daughter-in-law, part of this family. Chloe is welcome here, but my card isn't a free-for-all." My body trembled, but I met his gaze. He paced like a caged lion, sweat dripping down his neck, the room growing warmer despite the AC. "I can't believe this. You've always been generous, helping neighbors, paying for my apartment down payment. Now, when your family needs you, you're a miser?" That word miser hit like a slap. Me, who had skipped meals to buy his school supplies, who had turned down dates to focus on him. After Robert died when Marcus was 12, I'd built our life on structure. Breakfast at 7, homework at the table, bedtime stories. It kept us afloat in our 2-story home, the one Robert and I had bought with dreams of a big family that never grew beyond us 3. "Marcus, I won't let you speak to me like that in my home." I stood, my back aching from years of waitressing, but I needed to face him eye level. "Then explain why you changed it without telling us." he demanded, veins bulging in his neck. Because I reviewed my statements, expenses I didn't recognize, a lot of money gone without my say. All discussed with you, he shot back, but his silence after that was telling. His breathing ragged, he finally said, Chloe always asks you first. Chloe is lying. The words escaped before I could stop them, hanging heavy in the air. He stared as if I'd struck him. I won't let you insult my wife. I'm telling the truth. You're paranoid. Maybe someone else should handle your finances. Those words electrified me, my son, questioning my mind, my independence. Leave, Marcus. Not until we fix this. Give me the new password. No. I held his stare, the room silent except for our breaths. He stormed to the door but paused. This isn't over. You'll regret how this affects us. His voice was ice, a threat veiled as warning. Chloe's hurt. She might not want to see you. That's her choice. You're right. We'll make ours. The door shut with a thud, leaving me trembling. I watched his car speed away, tires squealing on the quiet street where kids played hopscotch and neighbors waved. 40 years of motherhood reduced to this. The begonias on the patio wilted under the sun, but I had no strength to water them. Sinking back into the chair, I closed my eyes, replaying his fury. It wasn't just the password, it was boundaries I'd finally set. The phone rang, Chloe's shrill voice on the machine. Sylvia, I know you're there. Hope you're happy, devastating Marcus. Click. The clock ticked to 3:30. Potatoes waited in the kitchen, but as I peeled them, his cold eyes haunted me. That afternoon was the spark of a nightmare, one that would unravel the family I'd built brick by brick. Little did I know, the real storm was brewing, threatening to strip away everything I held dear. As I peeled those potatoes that fateful afternoon, the rhythmic scrape of the knife against skin grounded me, but my mind wandered back to simpler times before Chloe, before the money vanished like smoke. The kitchen smelled of earth and onions, a scent that always reminded me of Sunday dinners with Robert and young Marcus. We'd gather around the oak table Robert had built himself, laughing over mashed potatoes and stories from the week. Those were the days when family meant warmth, not this chilling void left by Marcus's departure. I couldn't shake the feeling that this rift had roots deeper than a password change. It started when Marcus met Chloe, 3 years ago. He was 39 then, an accountant at a steady firm, living in the apartment I'd helped him buy. Our routine was comforting. He'd handle my taxes, I'd cook his favorite stew on Sundays, we'd share coffee and talk about his day. The house felt alive with his visits, echoing the laughter from when he was a boy learning to ride his bike in the backyard. Then came the call. Mom, I've met someone special. Can I bring her over? His voice bubbled with excitement I hadn't heard since high school crushes. I prepared mac and cheese, his favorite, the cheese bubbling golden in the oven, filling the air with creamy comfort. When they arrived, Marcus beamed, holding the hand of a slender blonde with manicured nails that sparkled under my kitchen lights. Her clothes, a silk blouse and designer jeans, looked like they cost more than my monthly pension check. Mom, this is Chloe, the love of my life. Chloe smiled, her teeth dazzling white, but her blue eyes scanned me appraisingly, like sizing up an antique at a flea market. Her handshake was firm, cold as the autumn breeze sneaking through the cracked window. Pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Johnson. Marcus talks about you constantly. During dinner, she complimented the food, asked about my garden, the begonias blooming red that season, and flipped through our photo albums with feigned interest. What a lovely family, she said, tracing a finger over Robert's picture. She helped clear plates, her laughter light as she shared stories from her boutique job downtown. As they left, hugging me goodbye, I thought, finally, a good match for my boy. The next visits were charming. Chloe brought daisies from the market, their fresh scent mingling with my coffee. She'd wash dishes while chatting about fashion trends I didn't follow. Marcus glowed, and that was enough. The neighborhood buzzed with approval. Mrs. Perez next door said, he's lucky to have her. She seems so polished. Their wedding was intimate, at a quaint chapel overlooking the river where Robert and I had picnicked. I paid half without hesitation $5,000 for flowers, the dress, a catered meal of salmon and champagne. Chloe orchestrated it all. White roses cascading like waterfalls, music from a string quartet that played our old favorites. I smiled for photos in my simple blue dress, feeling like the proud mother I'd always dreamed of being. The reception smelled of fresh cake and joy, guests toasting to their future. The first months of their marriage kept the glow. Sundays, they'd arrive for lunch, the car pulling up with a familiar crunch on the gravel drive. Chloe would hug me, her perfume floral and expensive, and they'd update me on their apartment, new curtains, a leaky faucet. The house filled with chatter, reminiscent of when Marcus was small, building forts in the living room. Then came the first favor, innocent as a summer rain. "Sylvia, could you lend us $200? We're tight with apartment bills," Chloe asked one Sunday, her voice timid over dessert. Her eyes pleaded, and Marcus nodded supportively. I handed over the cash from my purse, thinking of my own early struggles after Robert's death nights counting pennies for groceries. "Of course, pay me back when you can." Friday passed without repayment, but another request followed. $300 for work clothes? Bonus next month. I gave it, watching them drive off, Chloe waving gratefully. It snowballed from there. $500 for car repairs, always with promises, "We'll repay soon." Excuses piled up like autumn leaves. Tight month. Unexpected bill. After 6 months, my loans totaled $5,000. During one lunch, the scent of my stew, heavy in the air, I mentioned it gently. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "Mom, we're family? Why track every penny?" Chloe smiled sweetly. "We've been careless. How about my card as collateral?" I accepted, not wanting conflict, but unease gnawed at me like the winter chill seeping through windows. A week later, Chloe called, voice desperate. "Emergency medicine for my mom. Cards blocked. Can I borrow yours?" I agreed, just for that. But checking online that night, under the glow of my desk lamp, I saw $150 at the pharmacy, plus $80 on cosmetics, $200 on clothes, $30 at a bistro. The screen's blue light cast shadows on the walls, mirroring my growing doubt. Confronting her next day, she teared up. "Sorry, Sylvia. Sales at the mall. I thought it'd be okay. Tomorrow, I'll repay." She didn't. Yet emergencies persisted. Sister's birthday, wedding shoes, anniversary gift. Promises echoed hollow. My savings dipped, but confronting Marcus made me the villain. "Mom, why so petty? We need to get ahead." One evening, reviewing statements by lamplight, the numbers blurred through tears more spent than earned from my pension. Sleepless, I calculated losses, the clock ticking like a countdown. My morning coffee tasted bitter, plants wilted under frost. Something had to change, but how, without shattering our bond? Little did I know, the small cracks were widening into a chasm that would swallow us whole. The months blurred into a haze of deceit, each emergency, chipping away at my trust like rain eroding stone. Morning started with coffee in Robert's old mug, steam curling in the crisp air, but peace eluded me. The garden, once my sanctuary, felt neglected, geraniums drooping under summer heat, begonias thirsting as I pored over statements instead of watering. Chloe's calls came like clockwork. "Sylvia, Marcus has an infection, expensive antibiotics." I'd hand over the card, only for notifications to ping. $400 at boutiques, not pharmacies. Confrontations became routine. "I forgot to mention underwear special sale," she'd say, eyes wide with feigned innocence. $400 on lingerie? It strained belief, but their gaslighting made me question myself. "You're overthinking, Mom," Marcus would add during Sunday lunches, the stew I'd slaved over tasting ash in my mouth. The table, once a place of warmth, now hosted tense silences. Chloe listing needs. Marcus's cousin's wedding, $500 for dress and shoes. I knew no such cousin. Marcus was an only child. His nods were complicit, avoiding my gaze. Neighborhood whispers added layers. Mrs. Carter, whom I'd nursed through illness with homemade soups, asked, "Everything okay with the kids? Saw them speeding off last visit." I smiled through it, but inside, doubts festered. One Thursday, watering plants amid buzzing bees, my bank called. $1,200 at Tech World authorize? No, I hadn't. Chloe had the card for headache medicine. Trembling, I blocked it, the phone heavy in my hand. 20 minutes later, Chloe rang. "What did you do?" I'm at the store with a full cart. Her voice echoed humiliation. It's my card, I replied firmly. Unauthorized purchases. Silence, then laughter. Marcus needed a computer sale. Why not consult me? Knew you'd say no. The accusation stung I, the endless giver, now the obstacle. For an hour, calls flooded Chloe pleading, Marcus furious. I let the machine take them, spreading statements on the table like a crime scene. January, $45,000 savings. June, $26,000 gone. Restaurants, spas, trips none mine. The room spun, scented with ink and regret. They arrived unannounced, entering without knocking, the door creaking like an accusation. Marcus looked weary, Chloe defiant on my sofa. What happened? He asked. Unauthorized buys? I said, pointing to papers. Chloe, all disgust you forget. A $1,200 computer? Bargain normally $2,000. Marcus paced. Emergencies change. It's not a luxury. It's work, he insisted. Pay with your money, I countered. Chloe stood dramatically. You make us feel bad for needing help. Respect my money. I worked 40 years. Family money is shared, she snapped. Marcus, we've spent $25,000? Offended. Statements prove it. They ignored the papers. Blocking humiliates us, he said. It's the family card. Those words chilled me, my earnings communal without consent. I need time, I said, gazing at my thriving garden under golden Sunday. They left softly, Marcus pausing. Reconsider, or it affects us. Alone, dreams crumbled. But worse loomed. 3 days' silence felt eerie, no calls, no visits. Friday, coffee on patio amid bird chirps. I logged in. $25,000 vanished over 2 years. Printing statements. The machine whirred like judgment. Categorizing. Jewelry, $500. Clothes, $700. Spa, $300. None mine. Bank confirmed report by mail. In my lockbox, amid passports and deeds, a card photocopy in Chloe's script. For emergencies. See. When. How. Heart pounding, Chloe called sweetly. Missed you. Need security code for online buy. The world halted, she had a copy, asking casually. Where's my card? With me for emergencies. You gave it months ago. Lies. Return it. Coming over. She arrived, smiling, placing the card down but withholding. Why no trust? She wandered, touching photos, adjusting cushions like owning the space. I'm protecting my money. From us? Family? She sat close. At your age, caution's normal, paranoid even. Age as weapon. Paranoid for control? Paranoid for control? Thinking we're stealing. She teared up. Hurts. I took the card, unmoved. This complicates things, emergencies at odd hours. We'll manage. She left. Regret when it's complicated. Sleepless, studying the copy. Truth dawned. Not paranoia, exploitation. But the bank's report would reveal horrors beyond imagination. Monday's mail brought the bank's report, 5 pages thick as a confession, delivered by a cheerful postman amid spring blooms. The envelope felt heavy, like the weight of betrayal it contained. Sipping coffee at the table, steam mingling with the scent of fresh ink, I scanned lines, dates, times, locations, amounts, a diary of theft. Transactions at midnight, stores I'd never visited, cities hours away. Most chilling, cash withdrawals at 3 a.m., $300 each, 6 times in 3 months. While I slept in my bed, wrapped in quilts Robert had loved, someone drained my account. I called Marcus, hands shaking. Card used when I wasn't there. Pause. You permitted emergencies. At 3 a.m. Once for a taxi after dinner. 6 times? Defensive. Not logging every crisis like kids? His impatience stung. Coming over? He said, hanging up. Waiting? I found more. Simultaneous buys, restaurant and boutique, miles apart. Impossible for one person. Copies existed. They entered with my emergency key. No knock. Chloe sat arms crossed, determined. This obsession's out of control, she said. Wanting transparency? Treating us like scammers, Marcus added. I showed the report. Explain two buys at once. Quick glance exchanged. I at restaurant, he at boutique surprise gift. Used your card too. Rehearsed. How many copies? Chloe feigned confusion. One, for safety. I produced mine. This? Months ago if lost. More for dual buys? Marcus stood. Stop accusations, fraud. Questions about my money. Chloe neared, teary. Hurts thinking thief. Unmoved. Truth. Marcus yelled. Paranoid. Chloe. Distance till professional help. Help? Doctor for changes. Changes? Generous to suspicious. Stingy for $25,000? They ignored statements. Chloe tore copy. Happy? Other copies? Marcus. This destroys us for money. Protecting finances. Your money's safe with us, in danger with you. Aegis jab. Proposal. 1 month access, prove trust. $1,500 allowance? No. Think. Till trust, distance. Chloe. Without family, money worthless. Alone with scattered papers, isolation hit. Paranoia or manipulation. Weak silence punished no calls, peaceful but lonely. Organizing closet, found Robert's pearl necklace, gleaming. For your worth, he'd said, hands trembling. Wearing it, I visited farmer's market, scents of ripe fruit and baked goods enveloping me. Mr. Garcia. Worried? Family sees me as money source. Listen to instincts. Mothers never lie. Words echoed home. Marcus called. Propose allowance $1,500 monthly. Too much. Our salaries cover basics need for growth. Live within means. Want us poor? My life, not yours. Connected. No. Forget other options. Hang up. What options? Monday. Knock. Lawyer Mr. Roberts. Son reviewing your capacity guardianship. Floor vanished. Defend. Lawyer. Exams. Evidence. Called Alma. Advice? She came. Listened over tea. Manipulating, escalating. Lost son? Already gone. Fight. Lawyer? Vincent Harris, elder abuse specialist. Sleepless, no more I'd fight. But the war's opening salvos would test my resolve like never before. Alma drove me to Vincent's office next day, the city bustling with morning commuters, horns blaring under gray skies. His office smelled of leather and coffee, walls lined with law books. Gray-haired, kind-eyed, he listened as I spilled. Loans unpaid, card abuses, copies, threats. Documentation? Statements, report. No signed authorizations? None. Financial abuse crime, common in elders. Relief washed over me. Proceed. Protect from guardianship, document abuse, recover money, prevent recurrence. Signed for $3,000 investment. Week blurred. Vincent requested footage, IPs, track transactions. Second meeting. Fake accounts, 3 cards in your name, $15,000 debt to son's address. Heart sank. How? Your info easy online. Filed fraud reports, criminal complaint. They'll negotiate, don't without me. Friday, Marcus called desperate. Drop charges, ruin us. You committed fraud. Pay back loan. Sell. And $15,000? Silence. Emergencies. Chloe's treatments. Lies. He cried, please. No. War guardianship. Witnesses erratic behavior. Calls flooded. Pleading. Threatening. Visits. Marcus banging door. Yelling. Chloe's friends with pretexts. Street voices. Women gossiping. Accusing son distrustful. Like my grandma before. Rumors spread. Car keyed. Crazy miser in red. Called Vincent. Document use against. Alma stayed. Sofa bound. 3 a.m. Call. Chloe disguised. Destroying family dirty money? Husband's illegal business? Slander on Robert. Worse before better, I whispered. Together, Alma replied. Allies strengthened me, but harassment intensified, pushing toward court where truths would clash. 2 weeks to hearing, Vincent prepped relentlessly. Documents, testimonies, evidence. Broader investigation, 3 similar cases. My report helped others. Court day, Alma and Vincent flanked me in echoing halls, smelling of polish and tension. Marcus and Chloe waited, eyes averted, Their lawyer shuffling papers. Judge reviewed. Hearing lasted hours. Vincent presented $25,000 unauthorized, fake cards, withdrawals, copies. Footage showed Chloe using card while I phoned home. Doctor testified. Normal capacity, no decline. I testified steadily. Small loans grew to control threatened when I stopped. Authorized accounts? Never. Marcus faltered. Verbal, permission. Impulsive, legitimate. Judge. Fraud. Harassment logged. Calls, vandalism, smears. Their tactics backfired. But outside court, desperation piqued more calls. A brick through window amid night rain. Stand firm, Vincent urged. The verdict loomed, deciding if justice would prevail over blood ties. The judge's gavel echoed like finality. Evidence crushed their claims. Guardianship denied. Repay $25,000 plus costs. Cancel debts. Restraining order. Systematic abuse intimidation tactic. Relief mixed with sorrow. Payments came monthly, supervised by Vincent. Our talks deepened. Widower, gardener, 3 kids. Visits evolved coffee, books, shared laughs on patio amid blooming flowers. One afternoon, happiest since my wife. Butterflies at 70. We married simply. Alma witness, judge officiating. Vincent moved in, blending lives library, new plants, pro bono work. Marcus called once. Sorry, divorcing Chloe. She took everything. Consequences. Forgive? Forgiven, but changed. Last contact. He moved, rebuilt modestly. At 72, with Vincent, we travel, garden, host his kids, lost son, gained freedom, love, victory and dignity, reclaimed never too late.